Hola folks, this is Momochi, as many of you know me on NC. First things first, I swear a lot. So if you don't like what I say, if you disagree with my choice of words, if you are offended, get the fuck out now. Now, I gotta give out some props. To Keljar, to Kagemaru, to Soke, you live it, motherfucker, and to Daichi. Daichi, because he was fucking ballsy. Daichi says what needs to be said. And Soke, he's just pushing that 5.5 little train along where it needs to go. I'm one of those guys who got real excited when version 6 was announced. I made like 5 different characters in the course of 2 weeks. The 2 weeks after the very first announcement. Yeah, and then there were all those rumors going around. Like, hey, it's going to come out in a couple months. Hey, it's going to come out in a year. Hey. All of that shit. Yeah, that was all disappointing. Soke told me how it all went down, and for that I give the mods and admins and people on dev and plot sympathy. I don't remember how the whole thing went, but believe me, they had their reasons for messing up. Now, Jeishi, God, that is one of the big issues of today. Ain't that fucking sad that one character can cause so much fucking trouble? Now, I liked the guy. I worked with the guy. He was a cool guy. He was a fucking rebel. A rebel. A rebel in the truest sense of the word. You spent 5 minutes talking with him on the phone, chatting, texting, anything. You knew the guy was a rebel. He would fight whatever authority was present until he was sure that he was not being fucked. Now, he would call bullshit. He would call bullshit every time he thought there was bullshit, every time it was hinted that there was bullshit, and many times when there was no bullshit at all, but it sounded a little like bullshit. That's one of the things that got him in trouble. See, you need a rebel. You need a rebel in any healthy society to keep the mods and the admins on their toes. Hypothetically speaking, NC is a society. And hypothetically speaking, Jeishi would be the rebel of NC. There's been a lot of rebels, but I think Jeishi, it would be fair to say, takes the cake. Now, there's been a lot of debate over the 5.5 business. Now see, if somebody you trusted somewhat, let's say like back when you were a kid and you were too young to buy cigarettes, you gave a guy $10 to get you some cigarettes at some point. Now, when you saw him the next day and he didn't give you those cigarettes, he didn't have those cigarettes, you were a little worried, just a little bit. Next day, you were a little more worried. Next day, you wanted your fucking money back. That's how people have felt about V6 and 5.5. They want their fucking money back. But luckily for them, their money is not actual money. It's just time. A lot of the people have invested a lot of time into new characters and new ideas that they've wanted to develop for a long time, and they have not been able to. Now, I'm just saying, in sympathy with those people, you will have the opportunity to live those characters very soon. Soke told me that it would be a month. Now, I'm very skeptical, but Soke said it, and I'm going to trust his word on this one, and I think all of you should give him the same chance. I ain't got much else to say. I'm back. Thank God. Some of you fuckers needed me. God. Alright, Taka. We'll talk about business. Oh, by the way, there's been a whole bunch of shit back and forth about conspiracies. Now, a lot of conspiracies here and there never amounted to anything. Some of the most well-developed conspiracies and massive plot influences died very, very slowly. As a missing, and I went missing because I was somewhat forced to originally, I was loyal as fuck to Myst for the longest time. But then I got a promise, and that promise was not kept. It was just like the 5.5 or V6 thing. So a couple months went by, and I left. I loved Myst, but I left. At that point, I started a lot of mercenary work. I'd take a lot of little jobs here and there, just looking for these guys with grand ideas. Guys like Yogi or Taka. I think once or twice, Saru Nishi almost approached me. I don't know. I wasn't too sure about that one. It never sounded real solid. Whole bunch of these big plot twists involving a whole bunch of characters and all these big things, but a lot of them never amounted to anything. The bad guys on NC are hard pressed to find solidity. Our missing thing, back when I wasn't missing, it never really, we had no real voice, no real mods. So when Rain was built by missings, for missings, that was like a sudden miracle, like a prayer answered. We were happy as fuck because suddenly we would have the respect and dignity of a village despite not exactly being one, and we would have the decency of active mods and posts and admins. We would have genuine attention from admins, and requests would be answered in a timely manner, and training posts would be trained properly, the whole 9 yards. Just real simple things that missings did not have. We were happy as fuck when Rain came out. Now, I've always liked the idea of Rain as a village. You can ask anybody who knew me back in the day. My character's story arc, my very first character, was a spy from Rain into Mist Village. That was his arc. Rain as a village did not exist, but that's how it was roleplayed. Now, that made me a bad guy, but it made a very, very intriguing arc. Whole bunch of characters, like throughout Mist, whole bunch of people were involved here and there. There were a bunch of little fights, little skirmishes, little dramatic moments that weren't too dramatic. It was good times. Now, I'm just saying, bad guys are bad guys, but at some point, people should let the bad guys be. I'm not saying the Kage Summit is a bad thing. I'm not saying that they should not ICly go and hunt out as many of these missings that they can, because that's what their job is, ICly. That's what they should do. I'm just saying, bad guys are fucking lonely. They have to go out and seek other bad guys who will likely screw them over to the good guys. It's a bad business. That's all I gotta say. This is Momochi, signing off.